I am here on Jenkins Drive in East Charlotte, about 10 minutes from uptown Charlotte, and I'm going to give you a tour not only of this house and this land, but I'm going to give you a tour of 6 strategies that I used and you can use to build wealth through real estate. 6 strategies in one address, and I'll start quickly with the first one. I did a home renovation loan when I purchased this, meaning that when the bank came out to appraise this, they did not appraise it based upon what it looked like at the time. They appraised it based upon the scope of work that myself and my general contractor put together and handed to the bank. And so in other words, they're saying, hey, he's buying this house for $300,000, but he's putting $70,000 or $80,000 worth of work into this house. What will this house be worth? What will it appraise for after that $80,000 of work is done? And then they wrap all of my construction costs, all of my renovation into the 30-year loan. I don't know about you, but I didn't have $80,000 laying around for my first house after I put my down payment down.
You don't happen to have $8,000 on you?
Oh, no, we don't use money in heaven.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting it. Comes in pretty handy down here, bub.
But the bank does, and the bank will let you wrap it into a 30-year loan. The second strategy that we used on this house was house hacking. House hacking is just kind of a real estate term for letting someone else live in the house that you live in and pay you rent. A lot of people do this by renting out individual rooms. They'll live in one room and they'll rent out other rooms. When we bought this house, largely because of the basement, it is a fully finished in-law suite, second apartment, whatever you want to call it. The entrance is right here outside of the backyard. You have a living room. We had a dining room with a little chandelier set up right there. They had a full kitchen. These grooves, oh my goodness, deep, deep grooves on this wall. Is this ugly red brick, and I painted it. So I hope someone enjoys this black wall for years to come, because it was a doozy and a half.
Whitewashing sucks, Tom. It powerful sucks.
You have a full kitchen, stainless steel appliances, quartz countertops, and right when we moved in, we rented this out to a young couple, and we rented it under market value, probably about $900 a month. And it was a great deal for them. All their utilities were included, but when they moved, we pivoted and we made it a little bit nicer, and we added this wall for some sound canceling purposes, and we pivoted to Airbnb. And when we put this on Airbnb, it was almost covering our mortgage dollar for dollar. So there's your third strategy. There's home renovation loan, there's house hacking, and then kind of part 2 or an individual strategy would be Airbnb. They had their own stackable washer and dryer right here, and they had their own bathroom. So the fourth strategy is that when we left this beautiful house, we put it on the market as a traditional rental. And for a couple years, we rented it on a 12-month term to a qualified tenant. And so at that point, it's just a rental property. We lived in it for a few years, and then we moved out and we cash flowed on it as a rental. At some point during the rental, I started to hop on the GIS and I started to play with the lines, and I started to realize I think I might be sitting on a subdividable lot here. So that leads me to strategy number 5, a subdividable vacant lot that I can build a house on.
This land is mine.
I approached this neighbor thinking I would have to buy some road frontage. They said no, understandable. They didn't want a house here.
Not saying.
Oh, you're crazy. Absolutely nuts.
But I called a surveyor, I called the city, and I found out that I actually could fit a house on this land. And so I subdivided another vacant lot off of this parcel. I will build a house here, and then I will refinance out of that house. Hopefully, the plan is to keep it as a rental. So for years to come, I could have a presence on Jenkins Drive, even though my name won't be on the deed of this house because I'm selling it, which leads me to my final strategy, all from this one address, and that is the tax hack of having lived in something 2 out of the last 5 years. I could have kept this as a good cash flowing rental, but the equity that I had in the property, plus the benefits of any gains that I come into being tax-free, and always check an accountant, big asterisks on everything I'm saying. I'm not an accountant, but this is how it's been explained to me by my accountant. Because I've lived in this property 2 out of the last 5 years, any gains that I come into will be tax-free. So I use someone else's money to fix it up and add value that way. I use someone else's money to pay my monthly mortgage. They were living under the same roof with me. I use someone else's money to pay my monthly mortgage after I moved out and cash flowed on that. Someone else is buying this house from me right now, and then I will pull permits on this neighboring address. And then hopefully, our favorite thing, using the IRS's money, or money which should have been the IRS's, but can rightly be mine by avoiding taxes. Thank you guys for this tour of Jenkins Drive with me. Tons of memories, laughing, crying, buying our first home together, and just learning the hard way through a lot of different strategies, but just having a great time as a family here, thinking fondly of our years living here, and now still getting to have a presence through a beautiful new rental property immediately next door. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully more to come soon.